Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Cardcraft. Thanks for joining me again today. What I want to do today is a little file folder. So it's a little file folder, album, journal, etc. I have popped the template for said file folder up as a free download for you on my Ko-fi page. Now, this is of course for this size, and we'll go through all that as well, but that's up there if you want to just work on exactly the same size. They are easy to resize, but I'll pop that one up there for you on the Ko-fi page. What I've done with this one, look, it's a really easy little single signature album to make up. The one that I've worked on today, that I've done as my prototype, is full of originals. There's a few copies of originals in there as well, but the majority of it is originals. So all my wonderful documents that I've sourced throughout, I've got old music pages, I've got some writing pages, I've got copies of digitals. Now you'll find these copies as well up on my Ko-fi page. They are a small fee, but there's 4 pages in one with lots of different receipts, and there's another one there that's got 3 pages with heaps of receipts as well. So do have a look at those ones. We've got vintage lace, more music pages, I've got more receipts, I've popped in some envelopes. So we're going to work our way through doing an actual little file folder journal using bits and pieces that were sitting around. So I've literally just used all my documents and my pages and my old book pages and stuff like that that have been sitting around my desk to finish this off, and we're going to sew it in. So that's how we're going to start today. Hope you come along for the ride. Let's get on with it. Right, so now we're down to the working part. Let's get started. As I said before, we'll take this through now as a full flip through. So we've got lots of vintage. We've got 1905, we've got 1930s, we've got 1800s. I've got all sorts of things. And this I just had to put in. There's a little piece of newspaper here from a 1905 magazine, and I just had to put it in somewhere. I just fell in love with it. Are you ready for this? We'll read it out. Drunkenness is curable. Absolutely, speedily, permanently, at trifling cost. Testified to by grateful thousands, can be given secretly, unknown to sufferer. Save those dear to you, you can with certainty. Particulars and sample, 1D, stamp, Carlton Chemical Co. in Birmingham. That was out of a 1905 magazine. I just had to put it in there because I just fell in love with it. Right, so as we go through now, we've got tickets, we've got a pocket here, vintage music paper. Now these papers are actually out of, you know when you buy new shoes and they're scrunched up at the bottom with papers, they're a really fine paper. That's what these are. So you can still write on them, but they don't add any bulk. These are copies of some of my latest receipts, so they're the ones that are in the Ko-fi shop. This one I've stenciled on the back. I've got some vintage lace which I've deliberately left up the top just to hang out. More vintage newspaper, vintage music sheet, more writing. We've got an envelope here with a stamp on it, some vintage music paper. Another one of those copies from the receipts that you'll find in my Ko-fi shop. And this one's a pocket, which I haven't actually put anything in. Must do that. More writing. Another one of those receipts. Some actual original vintage newspaper. I've got some bank details here. That one just goes in there so that you can see the actual Lloyd's Bank part up here. On this side we've got more of those bank details, more from the vintage papers, 1905. I've got a tab made out of a piece from 1943. Another big tag, again taken out of a vintage newspaper from 1800, or the 1800s. I think it's 1896 personally. This one is a 1955 car magazine or caravan magazine. More Banks ledger, more of that ledger up here as a tag. More of the vintage receipts that I've copied for you. Little international code ticket and another piece from the ledger. More of those copied receipts. So we're on to the other side. More vintage lace, a little bit different, just a little bit hanging over this time. More stenciling of that receipt. And then onto our back page, we've got, I can never remember what these books are called. I've got so many of them. And I can't look over there and see them at the moment. Again, vintage book page done as a tag and more of that. So I hope you'll enjoy this one. It is nice and easy to make. What we're going to do is to create it. We won't decorate it, but we'll create it so that you can see what you can do with it. This is said template, okay? As I said before, you will find this as a freebie in the Ko-fi page just to download. It is not, once I sat there and played around and got what I want, I then traced it around onto a manila folder, piece of manila folder. Actually used their score line as my score line. It just makes it a little bit more sturdy for when you're tracing around. I've then used some, now these were like manila folders, file folders, ones that I found at an op shop that were patterned. So we've used that. When I did this one, which is one of these as well, let me just go to the center so that I can open it out. I've used it this way, okay? When I've done this one, I've turned it around so that my tab is at the front. So you can have this either way. So this time I've got the tab down the bottom on the inside with the opening up here. This one I've got it with the tab at the top with the opening bit down there. As I said, you can do it either way you want. That's why I traced around that one as well. What we're going to do with this one though is just for a little bit different. I've done two of them. Now I've used scrapbook paper. Getting rid of my scrapbook paper, my 12 by 12s. So this is from a range. I can't remember, it's a Kaiser range. So I've done one and I've done two. One going up that way, like so, and one going that way, so that I could choose which way I wanted to do it. So with this one, I'm going to have that as my front cover, and I'm going to slot that in so that I've then got the two tabs. Okay, there will be papers in between all of these. So my papers, what I've decided on is I've just got a selection of bits and bobs floating around. So again, some more of that shoe paper. That's about all I know it as. It's just shoe paper. So we've got some sheets of those. Now I have measured these out to a 6 by 6 inch square. Okay, so that when I fold it, I've got 6 inches high by 3 inches wide. So that means when it goes into my file folder, I've got about a 1/4 inch top and bottom and a little bit on the side. Okay, so they're all round about that size. So I've got that. I've got another one of these copied receipts. So I printed some of them out after I put them on the Ko-fi. I've got some of them already on Ko-fi. The others will be up by the time this goes out. So these are some of the sheets. And I've printed 2 page so that I could shrink them down a little bit. They're just, okay. So that's what I've done, just so that I can shrink them down a little bit and make them fit this size album. So that's one. And what I've done is I've measured my 3 inches and folded it across, and then this time I've just folded this bit up and I'll adhere that to make a pocket. Done a little bit of stamping on that side. Another one of those caravan pages. This one is an envelope, just a craft envelope. Again, I've left one side and I've trimmed down the other side at 3 inches so that it will fit into this journal. A little bit more shoe paper. There's probably way too much more than I need here, but I just kept grabbing them as I went. Another little funny type envelope, and I've got it open on both sides, and I've just punched a little thumb hole in there so that that'll fold over, and he's nice and small. Plastic paper bag. We love them. This was just a plain white paper bag, and that's been coffee dyed. So all I've done is folded it up at the bottom so that it'll measure a little bit smaller. So we're not quite 5.5 inches. So this one originally was 7 inches in length, which is too long. I could cut it off and rearrange it, but it's easier just to fold it up. And this one is a smaller one because it is only, not quite 5.5 inches wide. I've just folded it in half. Depending on the size of your bag, you can play around. Now, bags are a dime a dozen. There's a pile of them here. And just look at what you've got with your bag. So this one, yep, I could fold that one in half and then do the same thing with that. This one's a little bit wider. So I could still fold it up, but I could also have a flip over as well. So I could fold it at the 3 inches, and then I could have another fold there that folds out. It's a matter of playing with the ones that you've actually got. So that's that one. Then I've just got some more vintage music sheet or coffee dyed ones and some more shoe paper. Okay, there is so much that you can put in these. Actually, I know what I wanted. These are my coffee dyed different papers. So what I want in this one is, I know I've got, it's like tissue paper. So that's been coffee dyed as well, and I'm thinking that might be nice in there as well. So we're going to have one of those ones. Right, so I'm just going to fold that at around about 3 inches. Let's have a look. Yeah, look at that. I can tear down this side. Look, if I can pick them up. I'm just going to tear that down there. Like so. And so at the moment it's quite long. I like this section up here, not so much this. So I'm just going to take it off around about there. Turn it over so I've got my fold. Kind of make it straight. Use your grid. And I'm just going to, again, tear. Now you could cut these, you could do anything you like with them. But they're so fine and thin. So what we're going to do is these are my two. I'm going to work out a few pages. Right. So I've got some music sheet here. I've got that one in there. I want some writing paper in there. Like so. We might have an envelope in there. That bit can go into that section just there. So then we want some more to go into our front section. We might have this one. Why aren't you sitting in there? Right, that's because that's not folded correctly. Crease him down like so, that's better. That one, my vintage book page. I love all these documents and books and all the rest, and I collect them so much, and I just don't use them. I won't use them. I will not touch them because I love them so much. So it's about time that I use them, isn't it? It really is. Right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll count that, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What more do I want? Oh, I like that one. 10, And let's put another one of these ones in there as my opening page. So that's got 11 signatures, including that. That will all go in there like that. So it makes it nice, and you know me. Look, that sun's come back in, sorry. You know me, I love this sort of size. So from here, now that I've worked all these out, what we can do is sew it in. So easy. Look at that, I did a funny. All right, so I want 2 awls. I want some needles. I want a piercing mat because I don't have one of those wonderful little angled things. And I want a pencil, just to start with. So what I'm going to do is, at this stage, I've got those ones in the centre. I'm going to measure round about halfway for this one. So we were about 6 inches, weren't we? So if I'm going to put a pencil mark round about 3 inches, okay? So I'm going to take out all of those and just leave my front cover at this stage. Make sure I've got them round about where I want them. I'm happy with them a little bit jiggled. I want something to hold them all slightly together. And another big paper clip for this side, just so that they're vaguely together and not hanging off loose everywhere. This is the easiest way to sew things in. Just a standard 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Popping, so it's just a big thick foam. And I'm going to push them down, and I'm going to just pop that through. And I'm going to leave that there like that, because that's going to hold everything together, which is why I like to have 2 awls or 2 paper pierces, anything that you can use to get through book page and chipboard and stuff like that. So now I can work out vaguely where I want the others. Now I can measure them. This is me. I'm not going to measure them. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm thinking about there. So I'm going to lift that up, and I'm just going to go straight down there. There's a lot of bulk because we've got that other piece there. And I'm going to go round about there. Okay, just like so. So I've actually got those ones all done. Now I can sit this one in the right spot so that it all sits in nicely. And I'm going to go back over those holes. I've already got my holes in. So it's just taken one of those thicknesses away, and I'm only having to go through one this time. So back down to that hole, straight in, and then up to the first hole. Like so. Now I'm going to use some vintage wax thread to sew this together. So that's what I didn't get out. Now I've got a pile of vintage wax thread here. Where's one that I'm partway through so I can try and finish these off? I've got that one. I've got another one, but I just dropped it. I need one of those grabby things, don't I? Not the company, the... Hang on, I got it. I'm going to use that one because I want to try and finish that one off before I go into that one. Now these are from vintage sewing lots that I've found, that I've come across. So, and again, I was hoarding them and not actually using them. Sorry, I keep dipping over to the phone because I'm also watching an auction that I've got things bid on, so that I'm bidding on, and unfortunately it goes all day. So it's about a 7-hour auction, and of course the lots that I'm interested in are all over the show, aren't they? Right, so what I've also found when I was unpacking was I found one of my old beading needles. See these? And I actually found them on Temu again last night, so they are still available. I've had these for ages, but when I'm doing a thicker thread, it means that I can sew easily. So I have actually ordered some wide-eyed needles and I found this one, but I saw those on there as well, just to try a few other different bits and pieces. So it'll still thread through as per normal. Now I'm going to pull that one up, and I'm going to go from the centre straight through, and I'm going to go back up into the top one because there are so many in here. It's going to be very easy. Oh no. It will be very easy to miss pages. You've just got to work your way through. I'm going to go down to here. You'll see I haven't measured my thread either. I've still just got it straight on the roll. So down to that one. And then I'm going to come straight in to where I was. This one will be the hardest. The other reason I like these beading needles is that they bend. So I don't have to have enough thread on there to actually go with all of it. So you can see now that it's harder. So I'm going to undo that one. I'm going to leave that one on there. Pull that a little bit tighter. I'm going to go in the same hole. In that hole. I am. You watch. There it is. And through that one. I can see it coming through them all. There it is, up to that one. And that one. There it comes. I've lost it. And I've lost it. Where do I have it? There. Right, back down into the hole. And I've lost the whole thing now. Hang on. Do you know what I've done? I've gone in the bag. That's why it's moving. It's actually in the bag. There it is. Right. Down that one. Down that one. In that one. There it is. Almost at the end. In that one and in that one. Come on. I know you're there. I know you're there. Talk nicely to it. Always talk nicely to it. Talk nicely to everyone. There it is. Right. So I'm through that side. Now I want to be this side of this one. And I'll pull this one through. And I'm going to take the rest of that out and take my needle out. So now all we need to do is pull this a little bit tighter without ripping any of our fine, delicate ones. We want these at a good tension. So coming back up there, work your way around them. That one, that one. Let's just have a look at how we're going. Could be a little bit tighter. Right, that's getting there. So now we're just going to tie that in a double knot. There's one. Turn it around and tie it the other way. Straight in there. Look, see, the sun's gone again, and that's why I hadn't put anything up at the window. It's one of those yucky cold winter's days. We are officially in winter now for Australia, and so it's been raining, it's been a little bit sunny, it's been, yucky would be the best word, and I'm in the winter woolies today. Right, so there it is. How hard was that? And it was literally just finding the bits and pieces that I had around. So use your copy paper if you don't have any old books. Old books work a treat because you don't have to see the old books that are in there if you don't want to. You can put pockets on them, you can do all sorts of bits and pieces. So in essence, there is our book. Look at that. How hard was that? All our work was done prior. We cut them all to what we wanted. We folded, we worked out which ones we wanted as pockets prior. Okay, that one, already got the slit in there, into here. These ones, now I won't glue these pockets down until I've worked out if I want something on there. So let's have a look at something that I've got floating around. And because I've got lots floating around, let's use another one of these. I love all these. So this one's nice, and this one will fit in there. So what I'm going to do is, I love classifieds. There's just so many wonderful things in these old newspapers and magazines that in the classifieds that are just, they're just brilliant. Right, so if I sit that in there like that, because I can open this out now, work out where I want it to go, and I'm going to take it up to that one with that, like so. This one is now going to sit down here. That's somebody leaving my house, so that I've still got the pocket up here. Now it doesn't need to be that long because I've gone all the way down there because I was working it out up here. So artwork at home, I like all those, I like all those. I probably only need to go down to that, which gives me those to use at something else. So I'm going to start it at that one and just go from there. That can then be slotted down in that to where I want it, and then we can glue this down. So let's just stick that one down right now, just with your glue stick. Glue stick will be fine. You do need to watch what you're doing with the glue stick when you're using a lot of these originals, because they can be very fragile. So don't go at it like a bull at a gate. Lifting that one up, sitting it up, working out where you want it from up there. Yep, and giving it a push. So I'll grab my cloth and give that a push, because again, I'm not going to use my scraper that I normally use, or a card, because it is very fragile. Now if you're using copies of all these, go for it, because they're going to be in today's copy paper, which is more sturdy. So now I'll be able to glue that section down. And I'm just going to literally work out where this finishes without having to flip it all around and go from there down. Okay. That's quite a good sized pocket, that one. Right. Lifting, I always lift them up and squeeze them shut, just in case I've got a little bit more glue than I need and it doesn't come out onto my next page. I don't want that glue on there. Okay. So that's now done. Our pocket is done. Let's do the other side to that book, to that envelope as well. There it is. So let's do both sides. That's our opening side, so it gives us a pocket already and a pocket down here. Paper bags are wonderful for that. I love working with paper bags. So I'm going to use another little piece of that. Let's find another one. I've got so many bits and bobs here. That'll work. So I'm just going to, that's off that caravan book. It's all right. What I'd lost was my little ruler. I love my little ruler. I use it all the time, but because it's so little, I do have a tendency to lose it regularly. These ones will all go into my scrap box because they make the most wonderful tags and things like that. So I'm thinking I should be able to get that in there. Yep. So I'm going to go down that side, just so that it's the writing. It gives something to look at. And I don't reckon I need to go much further than that. That's going to be down there. Alright, and I'll just tear that off there. And this one can now go in there like that. Yep, happy with that. Are you proud of me? I'm not inking. I inked on the other one. Finding a non-glue spot on that. Because again, the last thing you want, and I know we all tend to do it, we'll just keep gluing over and gluing over and gluing over, but when you're using vintage papers, just make sure you haven't got any other glue sitting on your glue book, because it will rip them. I can't stress enough how fragile most of them are. I'm going to sit that one up there, round about even. And now I'm going to lift that one up, slide him in. It is so much easier to leave that pocket unpocketed until you've popped those in. All right, grab our glue again, working out where we're going from, which is there, and straight down. Now you could measure if you wanted to. If you're that way inclined, measure away. I'm not. So each to their own. Well, I can go a little bit further up actually. There you go. And I'll lift that up and squeeze that tight again, just so I don't get any glue further out. Like so. Get rid of the glue off that, pop the lid on that. Okay. How easy. How easy. They are then just up to decorating any which way you want. Pockets in here, bits and pieces, same within this. And they take no time. Today's video is a quick video because here it is already done. I wanted to show you what you can do with these file folders. Look, you could do a thin one with just a single. This one's fairly thick. I would do it in, say, scrapbook paper, which gives enough sturdiness without it making too much bulk. But you could do that and just add a couple of pages in there and have them tucked in to your actual journal that you're doing as well. They're just so versatile. As I said, couple straight into your journal. I don't think I've got a journal here. Oh, hang on. I might have. Sitting here is my purple journal that I'm working on. So let's have a look. That should be in here underneath all the purple bits. Right, here's my purple journal that I was working on ages ago that I'm still working on. Let's have a look. So let's say we had a pocket there. That would slide straight into your pocket. You could have it so that your tab overlapped and it's actually then in a journal with just a couple of bits and pieces. It could be a writing notebook. You could just have writing in there. You could have some special things, some photos, things like that, or do it as the full album like we've done here. So quick, so easy. You'll get so much pleasure from it, especially if you're a bit like me and you hoard all this stuff. Use it. It's there to be used. Okay, if you don't have any, as I said before, the file folder is as a free download on my Ko-fi page. The link for that will be below in the description box. There are those sheets of, I'm just moving that pile again back over here. The sheets that I mentioned before are on there as well if you wanted some old receipts. I've got others in there as well. There are a few others in there that are free. These ones are a measly $1, and that's Australian. For one lot's got 4 sheets of them, one lot's got 3. You will find them on other people's Etsy sites, different sites as well. Graphic Fairy does freebie downloads as well. Look at those. Otherwise, buy an old newspaper. Buy a current newspaper. Coffee diet, tea diet. Make it look old and utilise that. You'd be surprised what you'll come along with and find old books. Books are a dime a dozen. Find one at an op shop, 50 cents or less. And if it's not the right colour that you want for this, coffee dye them, tea dye them. If you're not certain on coffee dyeing or tea dyeing or anything like that, if I remember, I'll put the link. I did one 2 or 3 years ago now, showing you how to coffee and tea dye using the oven, so you don't have to worry about the weather, you don't have to worry about windy days, you don't have to worry about sunny days or anything else. I will pop the link to that one below as well if you want to give yourself a refresher course. And we'll go from there. Thank you for watching this today. As I said before, nice little quick one. All the work had been pre-done, and really you didn't need to see me decorating it. You've seen it all done now and what I've done with it. You can go back through all that at your leisure. And it literally was using all those bits and pieces that I have sitting on my desk that I so want to use, and I won't. So I've done it. I've used them, and I loved using them. So I'm going to use more. There will, as I come across more, I'll pop them up on Ko-fi as well. I've got so many of them here. And as I said a minute ago, I am also sitting here watching an auction that I'd put in for with lots of old books, ephemera, banking details. Missed the banking ones, unfortunately. I have got 2 that I'm highest bidder on at the moment. One I got, and I can't remember what that one was, but I'll let you know when I get them. And I got some last week that I haven't picked up yet. I can't remember what those ones were either. That's bad. All right, I'm waffling. All right, guys, have a great day. Don't forget, stay happy, keep crafting, and until next time, bye.